Bella.
Hi, thank you, Bella.
Thank you very much for attending Pinecrest Tribune's Lunch and Learn. Gene Stearns, who's the godfather, or the whatever you want to call him. He's the one that started the incorporation. And we have all the mayors here. It's a great opportunity to meet everybody.
We are sharing the Village of Pinecrest proclamation, whereas Giuseppe Joe Zuzzo opened Anacapri Italian Cuisine and Market 26 years ago. And whereas Anacapri is a popular destination and all of our favorite destination for residents and visitors to Pinecrest and is a staple in the community. And whereas Anacapri graciously hosts the luncheon sponsored by the Pinecrest Tribune, which serve as a community roundtable bringing together civic, community, religious, and business leaders. Now therefore I, Cindy Lerner, Mayor of the Village of Pinecrest, Florida, on behalf of the Village Council and its citizens, do hereby proclaim Monday, February 22nd, 2016 as Anacapri Day.
So we want to present him with a symbolic jersey representing his being a part of Team Pinecrest.
Fitness jersey, yes, question.
Does it fit? I don't know about that. Does this help you get off tickets? No.
And it's because of the activism of the people in this room and for ambassadors over there and the untold hundreds of people that caused the movement that helped create not just Pinecrest, but all these other cities that people are enjoying. And at some point, Grant and I said, I think we should rename our newspaper down there. I think it was the South Day News. Why don't we try this name there? I think they're going to use them to call the area Pinecrest. And we did that. And our first issue, we started making money. Our first issue, we started recognizing that our need, what we needed to do, was to take care of the local people and to help build community. And we're fortunate to be able to do that over all these years. And I want to thank you all for your support and for your activism. Have a great day. Thank you.
To give this great award, wishing to congratulate Lexus of Kendall for being a participant of the most prestigious award, the Elite of Lexus. And this award is given to the top 10 producers in the country. And Lexus has won this award 14 times. Wow. Yeah. So, you know, I don't drive a Lexus.
I do have a Lexus, and I drive down here, and I will tell you, thanks to you, I met your police department. And I had this moment where I said, I wanted to say, do you know who I am? But I didn't. So I was proud to receive a ticket from a police department because I was doing 45 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone. And laughed when I got it, thinking, this is what it's all about. And it is what it's all about. The reality is that I wrote a letter to the Islander News last year because they kept referring to me as the father of incorporation. And the headline story was, Key Biscayne lawyer denies paternity. And now I got to say, Key Biscayne citizen denies grand paternity. Because the truth is that you can't create any political movement or any change without having a collection of people. The chemistry is what requires something to be successful. The history of incorporation in Dade County, it's not a long one. If you think about it, City of Miami was here in 1898. City of Miami Beach not long after that, Hialeah not long after that. Those were the three major cities. The City of Miami was Dade County. There was no county government of any consequence. And the City of Miami provided airport, seaport, public health, all public services. And what happened after that is there was a cost to that. And so little bedroom communities sprung around on the outside and the outskirts of it to get the benefit of living near this big city without having to pay for anything. And that went on until you get to the 50s. In I think it was 52, there was a referendum to expand the city of Miami boundaries to be all of Dade County. It failed by less than 100 votes.
Wow.
And in that was followed by, and by the way, it was opposed by Miami Shores, Miami Springs, Carl Gables, go through the communities that opposed it because it was a threat to their existence. And so we came up with the idea of metropolitan Dade County. And the concept was, and this is going to make you laugh, but this is what was promoted, is metropolitan Dade County government was going to be so efficient, so competent, and so inexpensive, the cities would wither away. Okay? That was the pitch. And the belief was that this county would establish a level of service that was going to be so good the cities wouldn't want to even continue in existence. Now that continued. There was only one new city from 1957 until Key Biscayne, and that was the city of Islandia. And that city had, I think, 3 registered voters, but it also was a land that was owned by a county commissioner named Ralph Fossey. And Ralph Fossey was able to work through the county commission to create the city of Islandia. And there was going to be a causeway across the bay to connect South Dade to Elliott Key. It never happened, of course, because the world changed, and eventually Islandia did wither away. That brings us to the late 1980s. 1980s, the county was becoming increasingly unable to provide local services. Most people in Dade County that lived in unincorporated Dade County did not realize they were part of the largest municipal government in Dade County. They paid city taxes, they had city regulations, they had a city commission, but it was a unique city commission because the people who served on the city commission for unincorporated Dade County weren't elected by the people being governed. The people who elected the city commission for unincorporated Dade County were the people that lived in Miami and Hialeah and Miami Beach and Coral Gables, because those people also were the county commission. They had their city hat, the county hat, their city hat, and the county hat. And what did that mean? For example, when the legislature authorized storm sewer money, the cities got their storm sewer money and basically provided storm sewers. What did the county do with the money? It sat around for years and years and years, and they never shoveled any dirt. Hired a lot of engineers, never shoveled any dirt. When it came to, most recently, when the legislature authorized road tax dollars, Pinecrest, you're using your road tax dollars. Key Biscayne is using its road tax dollars. The county is running a countywide bus system with its road tax dollars. That tall building in downtown Miami that you look at, which is the government center, you know how that building got built? It was put on the ballot for a countywide referendum. The voters said no. The county said, okay, we'll borrow the money from the unincorporated area municipal utility tax. And they built that building and the government center with the money that came from the people of unincorporated Dade County. And so what you end up with is the fundamental problem of power with no responsibility, zoning power with no responsibility, police power with no responsibility, budgeting power with no responsibility. And the end result was millions, and I'm not talking, hundreds of thousands of very unhappy people who all had one thing in common. They all believed that the money they were paying was going somewhere else. The poor thought it was going to the rich thought it was going to the poor, and if you got them all together and figured out where it was going into this building downtown in Miami, and it wasn't serving the interest of either. On Key Biscayne, we had a revolution. We said, wait a minute. Our city taxes are every bit as high as Coral Gables. In fact, higher than Coral Gables. How come our children have no place to play? How come there's one cop in all of Key Biscayne to serve an 8-hour shift that covers Cape Florida State Park, Crandon Park, and the village of Key Biscayne? How come we have a fire station without a single paramedic? Not one. That's going to serve one broken down truck to serve 2 major regional parks in the village of Key Biscayne. How come we're paying almost 6 mills in municipal taxes? Where are our municipal services? And so we had a little revolution, and we fought tooth and nail. And y'all remember the battles, I think, perhaps as well here, because you were like 5 years later. But the battle was, how can we afford it? How can we afford it? How can you afford local government? And we would say, our slogan then was, incorporation means more than just lower taxes. You know what the millage rate on Key Biscayne is today? It's 3 mills. 3 mills. That includes police, fire rescue, all of our municipal services, 3 mills. Roughly 50% of what it was before we incorporated. Now, my politics are very left of center. So you would say, why is it someone who is liberal in his personal outlook would care about a community being able to provide strong local government? You know what we're paying in county taxes? Our millage, our tax base in 1991 was $1 billion. Today it's $8 billion. Our school taxes are generating 8 times what they did in 1991. Our county taxes are now 8 times what they were in 1991. Because what we created was a place that works. Good police, trees that got planted, grass that gets mowed, sprinkler systems that work, police that can, you know, who the greatest beneficiary of good policing? Is it the good kids? No, it's the bad kids. It's the kids that get to meet a cop, and before they're handcuffed and taken down to jail, they say, come on, let's get your life together. And what we have seen in our community, there used to be a word called key rats. Key rats don't exist anymore because the local policing, the people that care about them on a one-to-one basis are there for them. Now, I can't deal with teenagers that drink and drive cars. That's a different problem. I think we all suffer from that problem. But as a practical matter, what we created there was, I think, something special. My last words as I was leaving the county commission when they authorized the vote to create our charter, they said, well, Stearns, we'll never see you again. You took care of your rich friends. And I said, okay, that was a challenge. Okay, so we spent the next 12 years. Aventura, Sunny Isles, Miami Lakes, later Miami Gardens, went all the way down to Isla Mirada, incorporated Isla Mirada. And our law firm, 100% of our work was free, pro bono. We did this for 12 years. If you counted the cost to us, it's measured in the millions. Ironically, I'm being honored here at Pinecrest. With Pinecrest, I had the least amount to do with. Bruce Greer grew up next door to me as a child, literally next door. Bruce and I have been friends forever. And Bruce and Evelyn came and said how to do it, and all I left y'all was a map with an X on it. Because y'all did it by yourselves, truth be known. And so all we did was to say, ultimately, what we proved was the silliness of the argument of you can't afford it. What we proved was the silliness of the argument is the government is more efficient when it's bigger, because it isn't. Government is a lot more efficient when it's local. But there's something else I think that's very important to understand. We're right now in a war where people really don't believe in government anymore. This is a national emergency that people don't believe in government. They don't believe in it. And government, frankly, is giving them lots of reasons not to believe in it. And we certainly see that at the county. We see it at the state. We see stupidity as just sort of, you know, hey, this is a good idea. Let's turn down a couple $1 billion in Medicaid dollars because we don't want to have any association with Obamacare. So whatever your view of, good or bad, we're just going to turn it down because the politics compel that outcome. But what you do at this local level, what we've done on Key Biscayne, what's happened in all these other communities, it transcends gender, it transcends race, it transcends your ethnicity. You know, Key Biscayne, I'm always proud to say, for 8 years elected a gay mayor. You know, you couldn't do that in Dade County. It's a Republican conservative community, but in that community he was Bob. And everybody knew Bob, liked Bob, he's a good guy. And so that, you know, his sexual preference had nothing to do with the fact of whether or not we'd be proud to have him as our mayor, which we did. So, you know, guys, I bask in your success. I'm proud indirectly of what you've done, and I particularly enjoy the credit I get for it, having done nothing to achieve it. But, you know, honestly, it's unfortunate that it didn't continue on. The line was drawn about, I guess, Palmetto Bay is the last.
Cutler Bay.
Cutler Bay is the last.
We're the last. It's Cutler Bay.
Cutler Bay is the last.
So far.
It should have continued all across the county, as it did in Broward County, because the truth is, metropolitan Dade County is incapable of providing the most basic services of local recreation, public area maintenance, local policing, and frankly, local fire rescue. You guys, we don't need 10 hazmat teams, we need one. We don't need 10 SWAT teams, we need one. But we need local policing, and we need local paramedics that know their communities. We need local facilities that provide that kind of government at a local level and provide it effectively. And one of the great ironies of this is, in a city like Pinecrest, Key Biscayne, Aventura, Sunny Isles, you can see the involvement of the community makes people have a different view of government. They can see that when you pay taxes, you can actually get something for it. You can see that when you can complain to an elected official, that official, you can see them in the grocery store, in the hardware store, and it works. And so we need to do more of it, not less of it. It's a great honor to be here, and my last word I'll tell you is newspapers play a very important role in our society. The Miami Herald has promoted government that serves the Miami Herald's interest. At least it did. The Miami Herald essentially has ceased to have any meaningful role in this community. If you don't understand that, you're not paying attention. They don't have reporters. They're out in the hinterlands. They're basically reporting wire service stories. It used to be a pin light in a dirty kitchen. They've turned the pin light off. And as a practical matter, what makes communities work? You couldn't do what you're doing without Grant and Michael. And then we have less of a reason to exist but for you. Because you are creating the news they're reporting. The news that you're talking about are things that people want to know about. And as a practical matter, what that allows is a level of dialogue in the community that's allowed your community and your government to be enormously successful. And I will say, my very last word is, we began this city by stealing some public employees from Key Biscayne. And they were wonderful people for us, and I know they've done a wonderful job for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wait, okay.
Squeeze it later.
It's a real honor to have everybody here. The three mayors, thank you very much. We're going to wrap this up.
Thank you.
It should say horse country on it. Sure.